There are many guns in Fallout 4. Some are more useful, some are a gimmick, and some are just downright terrible. Today I'm going to beat this game with one of the worst guns in the whole game. Can you beat Fallout 4 with only the pipe gun? Now, you might be wondering, what makes the pipe gun so terrible? Well, you get the 10mm pistol inside of Vault 111 already. The 10mm pistol already outpaces the pipe gun in every possible way, making it basically useless. Raiders do use the gun, but they don't hold a candle to the power of the Soul Survivor and the quick save button. Its only advantage is the fact that it can be upgraded and modified and serves as a quick way to learn this tool for new players. In addition to this, the base damage of the gun is less than pleasing if you don't use perks to get it higher. So normally a quick run where I try to level up as little as possible would be a good choice. You see, that's not what I'm doing. I'm going to side with the Minuteman, the technically longest of the 4 factions, as you have to do a lot of side missioning to get to their top shape. Well, okay, let's do this. I named my character PP, both because of the pipe gun and because of PP Longstocking. A movie of the series was running in the background while I was setting things up for this challenge. I made my way out of the vault after putting enough perk points to get the gun nut perk as soon as possible so I could start upgrading the pipe gun. Well, I didn't have one so far, but after a quick jog over to Concord, the first dead raider had one on him, and I could finally go to town. Still I wanted to side with the Minuteman. Here it is the time to rescue them. It was nothing out of the ordinary. I killed the raiders inside and outside, the Deathclaw ripped the rest to shreds, and I killed the Deathclaw with 1,000 paper cuts. I built up Sanctuary and built an ammo factory to make more of the .38 ammo, because I had the gut feeling that the pipe gun would show up less in the game from this point on. And before venturing into Diamond City, I took care of the Minuteman quest for Abernathy Farm and Tenbine's Bluff. I also grabbed Hangman's Alley and Red Rocket, and that was already enough to start the take back on the castle mission. But not yet. I gotta save Nikki first. After saving Nick and killing the Myrlocks at the castle, I started this with over 900 bullets and was left with a little bit over 400. This means I'd have to stock up on a lot of bullets in future missions, especially the dangerous ones, such as Fort Hagen and the assault at the castle later on in the game. Here I also had an idea. I had browsed some websites earlier and I came across a post talking about Mama Murphy and how useful she actually is if you don't overdose her. That's a pretty grim sentence. Well, I hit her up before breaking into Kellogg's house, and she pointed me towards some seats below his house, where a key was hidden. And before Fort Hagen, there she got me a perk, which made Kellogg do 25% less damage. That's kinda neat. Before I hit up Kellogg, I got the info that Ronnie Shawn was looking for me at the castle, so I paid her a visit and together we set up the artillery of the Minutemen again. That was fun and makes the Minutemen quite a force in the Commonwealth. Okay, whenever I do a run, the first bit of Fort Hagen shows me if my build is worth shit or not. And this build wasn't it. So I went back to get different sorts of armor. In particular, I found some sets of T45 power armor and put them all together into one power armor properly, more or less. Also, since I'm siding with the Minutemen, I'm sending every unkillable NPC to the castle to make sure it is gonna be a ball when the courses arrive. In Fort Hagen, I came to realize that the pipe gun was not holding up well. Not well at all. It does a decent damage of now 30 hit points, but if you compare it to other guns, it is just not the same. But one part was very nice, and that was that you can find and craft ammo very easily. Kellogg died as always, but I also found this nice painting before, and I want a copy of it in my real life for no particular reason. Before I discussed my findings with Nick, and to get a brain dance of Kellogg's mind, I went to meet Maxon and to get Dance as a companion. Cleared out Fort Strong to make sure my ties with the Brotherhood of Steel wouldn't break, and promptly sent him to the castle because Dance is a fucking tank. I got a brain dance from Kellogg's life, which I couldn't care less about. Enough into the glowing sea it finally was. I ran most of the way there, but actually took down a few red scorpions and a Deathclaw in front of Virgil's hideout, because it got stuck on terrain, so that was nice. With Virgil's help, I found my way into Green Tech's genetic, and there's nothing a power armor and a bullet to the brain doesn't fix. Thanks to jamming up Mama Murphy, I had the recall code for the Corsa and took him out that way. And you know what? I actually joined the railroad! How crazy is that? I even did a quest to clear the switchboard. Woo! Okay. All jokes aside, I just want enough immortal NPCs for the assault at the castle, you know? And speaking of Minuteman stuff, I asked searchers for help to build a teleporter, and together we did this. Also, before I entered the institute, I had realized I had modified one pipe gun so much it had turned into a pipe rifle. And since it is not called a pipe gun anymore, I refused to use it for the rest of the game, even though the damage output was nice. I had used it to kill a few enemies before, so I gotta apologize for the slip up. Okay, off into the institute, where I played along with the bullshit until I realized roughly 5 minutes in that I need to be their enemy to trigger the Minuteman stuff. So I put a bullet into Father's brain and escaped. Preston wasn't happy with how many settlements we had at the moment, so I spent the next hour trying to recruit more settlements to our amazing cause. And then it was time to do the assault at the castle. I had prepared in advance with a protection level of over 100 by the time the assault started. Loading all my NPC followers in there was also a good choice. But oh god, the gun was so bad at this point. I had to load a whole magazine into a regular synth just to make it croak. The choruses were even worse. But thanks to the followers and the high level of protection, we managed the assault more or less fine. And now it was time for the nuclear option. By going through the sewage system of the institute, I got to the teleporter to get the rest of the Minutemen in. Funnily enough, the ghouls in the sewage system gave me quite a headache, as I didn't manage to kill a glowing one in time and it revived his buddies, making me lose quite some ammo in this. The fight inside the institute was actually really rough this time. One synth, one magazine, and I was watching my ammo count slowly go down without any way to refill the bullets. So, by the time we hit the reactor, I had stopped fighting and I just ran. I ran into the reactor, slapped the bomb on, and Sturgis teleported us out. I slapped the detonator charge and proved yes, you can beat Fallout 4 with only the pipe gun. I have to admit, at first the gun was okay, but the higher my level got, the worse it became. It did over 30 damage by the endgame, but somehow it wasn't enough to keep up with other weapons. Doing a Minuteman run was alright, funnily enough. During the hour where I just recruited settlements, I had Radio Freedom on all the time, and not a single settlement quest dropped. So I had to help myself to some, settlements. You didn't see that, right? In the end, the run was alright, I guess. It was not the worst, but it was also not my favorite. Also, all in all, this run took me 10 hours and 30 minutes. Alright, I'm glad that's over now. And that's all for today. My name is Rexy, and this was my video on beating Fallout 4 with only a pipe gun. I hope you enjoyed the video more than I did recording it, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye!